Blood dripped from Marcus's knuckles onto the cold steel door. He didn't feel the pain. He couldn't feel anything except his sister's small body trembling against his back. "Please," he begged into the darkness. "Please, someone answer." Behind that door were the Hell's Angels. Killers, some said. Monsters, others whispered. But the real monster was 3 miles behind them, and he was coming. Destiny pressed her face into Marcus's jacket, her tears soaking through the fabric. 10 years old. Black. His sister in every way that mattered. "Can you guys hide my sister for one night?" Marcus shouted. "Just one night. She's all I have." The door opened. The clock on the clubhouse wall read 12:47 a.m. when the first knock came. Bone heard it before anyone else. 43 years of riding had taught him to sleep light and wake fast. He set down his whiskey glass and held up a hand, silencing the 3 men playing poker at the corner table. "Someone's at the gate," he said. Razor pushed back his chair. "This late could be trouble." "Could be," Bone agreed. He didn't reach for the shotgun behind the bar. Not yet. "Let's find out what kind." The walk from the bar to the front gate took 15 seconds. In those 15 seconds, the knocking grew more desperate. Not angry, not demanding, desperate. Bone unlatched the viewing slot and slid it open. A boy stood in the yellow light of the single bulb above the gate. 15 years old, maybe 16. White kid, dirty blonde hair matted with sweat, a split lip that was still bleeding, and eyes, God, those eyes. They were the eyes of someone who'd seen too much, carried too much, run too far. "Please," the boy said. His voice cracked on the word. "Please, I need help." Bone had heard a lot of people say those words over the years. Junkies looking for a fix, dealers looking for protection, women running from bad men, men running from worse ones. But he'd never heard a kid say it quite like that. "What kind of help?" Bone asked. The boy looked over his shoulder into the darkness beyond the gate's light. Then he stepped aside and Bone saw her. A little girl. 10 years old, maybe younger. Black. Skinny as a rail. Wearing a jacket 3 sizes too big and mismatched socks. She was clutching a stuffed elephant so tight its seams were coming apart. And she was shaking. Not from the cold. From fear. "It's not for me," the boy said. "I'm scared for her. Can you guys hide my sister for one night, just one night? I'll sleep outside. I'll leave in the morning. I just need to know she's safe." Bone looked at the white boy, then at the black girl, then back at the boy. "She's your sister. She's my sister. No hesitation, no explanation, no justification. Bone had been in the Hell's Angels for over 30 years. He'd seen things that would break most men. He'd done things he'd have to answer for someday. But right now, looking at these 2 kids in the middle of the night, he felt something he hadn't felt in a long time. He felt like the next thing he did mattered. "Razor," he called over his shoulder. "Open the gate." The hinges screamed as the gate swung open. The sound made the little girl flinch so hard she nearly fell. The boy caught her without looking, his hand finding her shoulder, like it had done it 1,000 times before. "Inside," Bone said. "Both of you." The boy didn't move. His hand tightened on the girl's shoulder. "I said I'd stay outside. Just her. I don't need... I said both of you." Bone's voice left no room for argument. "Don't make me repeat myself." They stepped through the gate. Razor closed it behind them with a heavy metallic clang. The girl pressed closer to the boy, her face buried in his side. The clubhouse was nothing like what most people imagined. No drugs on the tables, no weapons on display. Just a long bar, some pool tables, a jukebox that hadn't worked since '98, and walls covered with photos of men who'd ridden before them. 3 men sat at the poker table cards, frozen in their hands. Chains, the biggest of them, had a neck like a tree trunk and hands that could crush a man's skull. Wrench was leaner meaner, with a scar that ran from his ear to his jaw. And Diesel, the only woman in the room, had arms sleeved in tattoos and eyes that missed nothing. They all stared at the 2 kids who'd just walked into their world. Bone, Chains said slowly. "What's this?" "This," Bone said, "is a boy who knocked on our door at midnight, asking us to protect his sister." Silence. The kind of silence that fills a room when everyone's thinking the same thing, but no one wants to say it out loud. Diesel stood up. She walked over to the girl slowly, the way you'd approach a wounded animal. Then she crouched down until she was at eye level. "Hey there, sweetheart. What's your name?" The girl didn't answer. She pressed harder into the boy's side. "It's okay," the boy said softly. "You can tell her." A long pause. Then barely a whisper, "Destiny." Diesel smiled. It transformed her entire face. "That's a beautiful name. I'm Diesel. I know I look scary, but I promise I'm not. You hungry, Destiny?" Destiny looked up at the boy. He nodded. "Yes, ma'am," she whispered. "Well, let's fix that. Come on." Diesel extended her hand. Destiny stared at it like it might bite her. Then slowly she reached out and took it. The boy watched them walk toward the back kitchen, his body tense as a coiled spring. He didn't move. Didn't breathe. Just watched. "She'll be okay," Bone said. "Diesel's got a daughter about her age. She knows what she's doing." The boy didn't respond. His eyes stayed locked on the kitchen door. "What's your name, kid?" A long pause. "Marcus." "Marcus, okay. You want to tell me why you're knocking on the Hell's Angels' door at midnight with your sister?" Marcus finally looked at him. "You wouldn't believe me." "Try me." Another pause. Longer this time. Marcus seemed to be weighing something, deciding how much to trust, how much to risk. "There's a man," he finally said. "He's been living with us since our mom left. His name's Wayne. He's been hurting her." Bone felt his jaw tighten. "Hurting her how? Does it matter how?" Marcus's voice cracked with sudden anger. "He's been hurting her. I tried to stop him. I always try to stop him. But tonight he—" Marcus stopped, swallowed hard. "Tonight he said things, called her things, and then he grabbed her, and I saw his hand go up and I grabbed her and we ran. I didn't know where else to go." "What about the police?" Marcus laughed. It was the saddest sound Bone had ever heard. "The police came twice. Both times Wayne talked his way out of it. CPS came once. Said as long as the bills were paid and there was food in the fridge, they couldn't do anything. Nobody believes us. Nobody helps us." Marcus's hands balled into fists. "So I stopped asking for help. Until tonight. Until I had no other choice." Razor had moved closer during this conversation. He was standing by the bar now, arms crossed, face unreadable. "You said your mom left," Razor said. "How long ago?" 18 months. "And Wayne, he moved in after, 3 weeks after. Said he was going to take care of us. Said Mom asked him to." Marcus's voice dripped with bitterness. "He takes care of himself. That's all. We're just in the way." Bone and Razor exchanged a look. They'd both been around long enough to know that look. The look that said this was bigger than one night. This was deeper than a kid asking for shelter. This was a kid asking to be saved. "Where's your father?" Bone asked. "Never had one. Mom was young when she had me. She adopted Destiny when I was 5. Said she wanted me to have a sibling. Someone to protect. Marcus's voice softened. I took that job seriously. I can see that. The kitchen door opened. Diesel emerged with Destiny, who was now holding a sandwich in one hand and her elephant in the other. She'd stopped shaking. That was something. She ate half a turkey sandwich and drank 2 glasses of milk, Diesel reported. Kid's been running on empty for a while. Marcus's face crumpled for just a second, just a fraction of a second. Then he rebuilt his walls and nodded. Thank you. We'll be out of your way in the morning. I promise. Sit down, Bone said. I'm okay. I don't need... Sit down. Marcus sat. Bone pulled up a chair across from him. He leaned forward, elbows on knees, looking the boy dead in the eyes. Let me tell you something, Marcus. In 30 years of wearing this patch, I've seen a lot of people walk through that gate. Some of them deserved help. Some of them didn't. But I've never seen a kid your age walk into a biker clubhouse at midnight to beg for help for someone else. Marcus said nothing. That takes a special kind of courage, or a special kind of desperation. Which one is it? Both, Marcus admitted quietly. Bone nodded. That's what I figured. So here's what's going to happen. You and your sister are going to stay here tonight. Not outside, inside. You're going to eat something. You're going to sleep. And in the morning, we're going to figure out what to do about Wayne. Marcus's eyes widened. What do you mean, figure out what to do? I mean exactly what I said. You came to us for help. We're going to help. That's what we do. But you're the Hell's Angels. Bone almost smiled. Yeah, we are. And I know what people think about us, what stories they tell. Some of those stories are true. We're not saints, Marcus. We've done things that would keep you up at night. But there's one thing we don't do. We don't let men hurt children. Not on our watch. Not ever. Marcus stared at him. For a long moment, he didn't seem to know what to say. Then his face crumpled. All the walls he'd built, all the armor he'd worn for 18 months, all the strength he'd forced himself to show it all, collapsed at once. He started to cry. Not loud, not dramatic. Just tears streaming down his face, silent and unstoppable. Destiny saw it. She pulled away from Diesel and ran to her brother, throwing her arms around him. Don't cry, Marcus. Please don't cry. You said we'd be okay. You promised. We are okay, Marcus choked out. We are. For the first time in a long time, we're okay. An hour later, Destiny was asleep on a cot in the back room. Diesel had found a real blanket, not the scratchy emergency kind, but soft fleece with stars on it. She'd tucked Destiny in like she was her own. Marcus refused to leave the room. He sat on the floor beside the cot, his back against the wall, watching his sister breathe. Razor found him there. You need to sleep too, Razor said. I'm fine. You're running on fumes. How long since you actually slept? Marcus had to think about it. I don't know. A couple days, maybe. Wayne's been getting worse. I couldn't close my eyes, couldn't risk it. Razor crouched down to Marcus's level. In the dim light of the back room, his face was all shadows and hard angles. I'm going to tell you something, Razor said, and I want you to really hear it, okay? Marcus nodded. I was a combat medic for 6 years. I've seen more trauma than you can imagine. Soldiers blown apart by IEDs, kids caught in crossfire, mothers holding their dead babies. I thought I'd seen it all. Razor paused. But the thing that breaks me every single time is seeing kids like you. Kids who've had to become soldiers before they ever had a chance to be children. Marcus's jaw tightened. I had to protect her. I know. And you did. You did something most adults couldn't do. You got her out. You found help. You didn't give up. It doesn't feel like I did anything. It feels like I was too late. Like I should have gotten her out sooner. Listen to me. Razor's voice hardened. You are not too late. She's alive. She's safe. She's sleeping in a warm bed with a full stomach. That's because of you. Don't you ever forget that. Marcus's eyes glistened. What happens now? Now you rest. Tomorrow Bone's going to make some calls. We have people. Lawyers. A CPS worker who actually gives a damn. We're going to do this the right way. And Wayne, Razor's expression went cold. Wayne's going to learn that some doors shouldn't be knocked on. Some lines shouldn't be crossed. And some men shouldn't be messed with. Marcus looked at his sister. She'd turned in her sleep, her stuffed elephant clutched tight against her chest. Her face was peaceful, relaxed. For the first time in months, she looked like a kid. Why are you helping us? Marcus asked quietly. You don't know us. You don't owe us anything. Razor was quiet for a long moment. Then he said, 30 years ago I was you. Different story, same fear. I was running from something bad, carrying someone I loved, looking for anywhere safe. A stranger helped me when they didn't have to. They didn't ask for anything in return. They just saw someone drowning and pulled them out. What happened to them? He became my best friend. He's the one who brought me into this club. He's the one who taught me that family isn't about blood. It's about choice. It's about who shows up when everything falls apart. Razor put a hand on Marcus's shoulder. Now get some sleep. I'll watch the door. Marcus wanted to argue. Old habits screamed at him to stay awake, stay alert, stay ready. But his body was shutting down. 18 months of vigilance had finally caught up with him. He lay down on the floor beside Destiny's cot. Within minutes, he was asleep. Razor stayed where he promised. Watching the door. Watching the kids. Making sure no one got through. Morning came with the smell of coffee and bacon. Marcus woke with a jolt, disoriented, his hand reaching for Destiny before his eyes even opened. She was still there, still safe, still sleeping. He exhaled slowly and sat up. Through the doorway he could see the main room of the clubhouse. Bone was at the bar talking on a cell phone in low tones. Chains and Wrench were eating breakfast at one of the tables. And there was someone new. A woman with silver hair pulled back in a braid, setting out plates of food like she'd done it 1,000 times before. Marcus stood and walked to the doorway, lingering there uncertainly. The silver-haired woman spotted him immediately. She smiled warm, genuine, like she'd been waiting for him. You must be Marcus, she said. I'm Rose, Bone's wife. Come eat something. Marcus hesitated. I should wait for Destiny. She'll be up soon enough. You need fuel. Come on. Rose patted the stool beside her. Sit. He sat. Rose put a plate in front of him. Eggs, bacon, toast. A glass of orange juice. It was the most food Marcus had seen in one place in months. Eat, Rose said. All of it. Marcus ate. He tried to go slow, tried to be polite, but his body had other ideas. He was starving. He hadn't realized how starving until the first bite hit his tongue. Rose watched him without comment. When he finished, she pushed another plate toward him. Slower this time, she said gently. Your stomach's shrunk. Eat too fast and you'll make yourself sick. Marcus nodded and forced himself to take smaller bites. Where did you learn that? He asked between mouthfuls. Foster care, Rose said simply. I was in the system until I was 16. I know what it's like to go hungry. I know what it feels like when someone finally feeds you. Marcus looked at her differently then. You were in foster care. 12 different homes in 10 years. Some good, most not. I aged out with nothing but the clothes on my back and a chip on my shoulder the size of Texas. Rose smiled softly. Then I met Bone. He was a mess. I was a mess. We became a mess together. 30 years later, here we are. And you help people like us. When we can. This club, it's not what people think. Yeah, we ride loud bikes and wear leather and scare people. But at our core, we're just a bunch of broken people who found each other. And sometimes we find other broken people who need a place to land. Marcus set down his fork. I don't know how to thank you. You don't need to thank us. Just eat your breakfast and take care of your sister. That's enough. Destiny woke up at 9 o'clock. She sat up slowly, confusion on her face, clutching her elephant tight. Then she saw Marcus in the doorway, and her face flooded with relief. I thought it was a dream, she whispered. It's not a dream. We're safe. Destiny slid off the cot and padded over to him. She took his hand, and together they walked into the main room. Rose had already set a place for her. A smaller plate, a smaller glass, a coloring book and crayons laid out beside them. Good morning, Destiny, Rose said. You like pancakes? Destiny's eyes went wide. Yes, ma'am. Well, you're in luck. I make the best pancakes in 4 counties. Ask anyone. Destiny climbed onto a stool beside Marcus. She ate carefully, deliberately, savoring every bite, like it might be her last. Marcus watched her, and something in his chest loosened. This was real. They were here. They were safe. For the first time in 18 months, Marcus allowed himself to hope. It was almost noon when the phone call came. Bone had been in his office most of the morning talking to people Marcus couldn't see, making arrangements Marcus didn't fully understand. When he finally emerged, his face was serious. Marcus, we need to talk. They walked to the back patio, a concrete slab with a few plastic chairs and an old barbecue grill. Bone sat down heavily, gesturing for Marcus to do the same. I made some calls, Bone said. Got in touch with a lawyer named Patricia. She's good. She's helped us with situations like this before. Situations like this. Kids who need protecting. Adults who need stopping. Bone's voice was flat, matter-of-fact. She's filing for emergency custody on Destiny's behalf. You're a minor too, so you'll be included. Temporary placement order should come through in 72 hours. Marcus felt the ground shift beneath him. Custody. You mean someone's going to take care of us legally? If all goes well, yes. Rose has agreed to serve as temporary guardian. The club will provide housing and support. You'd stay here while the investigation proceeds. Investigation? Into Wayne. Bone's eyes went hard. CPS is going to inspect that trailer. The cops are going to look into his background. If even half of what you told me is true, he's going to have a lot of questions to answer. Marcus's heart was pounding. This was happening. This was actually happening. What if he comes looking for us? Bone smiled, but there was no warmth in it. Let him. I'm counting on it. What does that mean? It means you don't need to worry about Wayne anymore. We handle our own problems, Marcus. And right now you and Destiny are our own. Marcus didn't know what to say. His whole life he'd been the one handling problems. He'd been the one standing between Destiny and danger. He'd been the only line of defense. And now there were others. A wall of them, surrounding him and his sister like a fortress. I don't understand, Marcus said slowly. Why are you doing this? You could get in trouble. You could... Stop! Bone held up a hand. Let me ask you something. When you knocked on that gate last night, what were you expecting? Marcus shrugged. I don't know. I wasn't thinking straight. I just knew I had to get her somewhere safe, and I'd heard stories about you guys. About how you protect people sometimes. Kids especially. I thought maybe... He trailed off. You thought maybe the scary bikers might have a heart. Something like that. Bone leaned back in his chair. You know what I see when I look at you, Marcus? I see myself. 40 years ago. Running from something bad, trying to protect someone I loved, not knowing if I'd survive the night. What happened to you? Someone helped me. A stranger, a man I'd never met before. He saw a scared kid in over his head, and he stepped in. He didn't have to. He had nothing to gain. But he did it anyway. Bone's voice softened. That man became my mentor. Taught me how to ride. Taught me what it meant to be part of something bigger than myself. And he taught me the most important lesson of all. What's that? That when someone asks for help, you help. That's it. That's the whole thing. When someone's drowning, you don't ask for their ID. You pull them out. Bone leaned forward. You knocked on our door, Marcus. We pulled you out. Now we're going to make sure you never have to knock on another strange door at midnight again. Marcus felt his eyes burn. He blinked hard, trying to hold it back. Thank you, he managed. Don't thank me yet. We've got a long road ahead, but you're not walking it alone anymore. Destiny was in the main room, coloring at one of the tables, when the front gate buzzer sounded. Everyone froze. Razor was closest to the monitor. He looked at the screen, and his face went cold. Bone, you need to see this. Bone walked over Marcus right behind him. On the security monitor, a pickup truck was parked outside the gate. A man stood beside it, hands on his hips, glaring at the camera. Marcus's blood turned to ice. That's him, he whispered. That's Wayne. Wayne's face filled the security monitor. Red-faced, jaw clenched, eyes scanning the compound like a predator hunting prey. I know they're in there. His voice crackled through the intercom. Open this gate right now. Marcus couldn't breathe. His legs wouldn't move. 18 months of fear crashed over him like a wave dragging him under. Destiny looked up from her coloring book. She saw Marcus's face, and her crayon slipped from her fingers. Marcus, what's wrong? He couldn't answer. Couldn't form words. Wayne had found them. Less than 12 hours and Wayne had found them. Bone put a hand on Marcus's shoulder. Heavy. Grounding. Stay here. Watch your sister. But I know who he is, and I know what he's done. Bone's voice was cold steel. Stay here. Bone walked toward the gate. Razor and chains fell in behind him. 3 men in leather and patches walking like soldiers heading into battle. Marcus grabbed Destiny and pulled her close. She buried her face in his chest. Is it him? She whispered. It's okay. It's going to be okay. You're shaking. He was. He couldn't stop. Rose appeared beside them. She didn't say anything. She just stood there, one hand on Marcus's back, a wall between the children and the door. Outside, the confrontation had begun. Bone opened the gate just wide enough to step through. He closed it behind him, leaving Razor and chains on the inside. Wayne took a step back. He hadn't expected anyone to actually come out. You got 2 kids in there that belong to me, Wayne said. His voice was loud, aggressive, but there was something underneath it. Something uncertain. Bone didn't respond immediately. He just looked at Wayne, studied him, took his measure. Those kids knocked on my door last night asking for help, Bone finally said. You want to tell me why? That's none of your business. They're mine. I'm responsible for them. Responsible. Bone let the word hang in the air. That's an interesting choice of words. Look, I don't know what they told you, but kids lie. The boy especially. He's got problems. Makes things up for attention. Does he? Yeah, he does. Now open that gate and let me take them home. Bone crossed his arms. No. Wayne's face went red. What did you say? I said no. Those kids asked for protection. They're getting it. You can't do that. I'm their legal guardian. Are you? Bone tilted his head. That's funny, because I had my lawyer look into it this morning. There's no custody order, no adoption papers, no legal guardianship of any kind. According to the state, you're just some guy who moved into their house after their mother abandoned them. Wayne's confidence cracked. Just for a second. But Bone saw it. That's not. Look, I've been taking care of those kids for a year and a half. I pay the bills. I put food on the table. I have rights. You have nothing. Bone's voice dropped to a whisper. And I'm going to tell you exactly what's going to happen next. You're going to get in that truck. You're going to drive away. And you're never going to come near those children again. Wayne stepped forward, trying to puff himself up. You don't scare me, old man. I know people. I got friends. You got nothing. Bone didn't move, didn't flinch. But let me tell you what I've got. I've got 50 brothers who would ride through hell for those kids. I've got a lawyer who's already filed for emergency custody. I've got a CPS worker who's inspecting your trailer tomorrow morning. And I've got a memory that never forgets when someone hurts a child. Wayne's face went pale. What the hell is this? I didn't hurt anybody. No. Bone stepped closer. Close enough that Wayne could smell the leather, the oil, the decades of hard living. Then you won't mind when CPS checks. You won't mind when the police ask questions. You won't mind when a judge looks at those bruises on that little girl's arms and asks how they got there. Wayne stumbled backward. I want those kids. They're mine. They were never yours. And if you come back here, if you try to contact them, follow them, even look at them wrong, I will find you. And we will have a very different kind of conversation. For a long moment, Wayne stood there. His fists clenched and unclenched. His jaw worked like he was chewing on words he couldn't spit out. Then he turned and got in his truck. The engine roared to life. The tires kicked up gravel. And Wayne disappeared down the road. Bone watched until the truck was out of sight. Then he walked back through the gate. Razor was waiting. Think he's gone for good? No, Bone said. Men like that don't give up that easy. He'll be back. We'll be ready. Bone nodded. Then he walked inside to find Marcus. The boy was still standing where Bone had left him, Destiny pressed against his side, both of them looking at the door like it might burst open at any moment. He's gone, Bone said. Marcus's legs buckled. He caught himself on the edge of a table, breathing hard. He found us. He found us so fast. How did he? Doesn't matter how. What matters is he's gone and he's not getting through that gate. But he'll come back. He always comes back. He never stops. Bone crouched down until he was at eye level with Marcus. He put both hands on the boy's shoulders. Look at me, Marcus. Look at me. Marcus looked. That man is never going to hurt you or your sister again. I give you my word. And my word means something. How can you promise that you don't know him? You don't know what he's like. I know exactly what he's like. I've dealt with men like him my whole life. They're bullies. They're cowards. They pick on people who can't fight back because it makes them feel strong. Bone's grip tightened. But you're not alone anymore. And when he looks at you now, he's not just seeing 2 kids. He's seeing 50 Hell's Angels standing behind them. That changes things. Marcus wanted to believe it. God, he wanted to believe it so badly. What if it doesn't work? What if he finds another way? Then we find another way to stop him. However many times it takes, however long it takes, we don't quit. Destiny pulled on Marcus's sleeve. Is the bad man gone? Marcus looked down at her. Her eyes were wet, but she wasn't crying. She was being brave, for him. Yeah, Destiny, the bad man's gone. Is he coming back? Marcus looked at Bone. Bone nodded once. If he does, Marcus said slowly, he's going to wish he hadn't. Rose appeared with hot chocolate for Destiny and coffee for Marcus. She didn't ask questions. She didn't push. She just provided warmth and sweetness and the simple comfort of being cared for. Destiny wrapped her hands around the mug and took a small sip. "This is really good," she said softly. "Secret recipe." Rose smiled. "3 generations of my family. I'll teach you someday if you want." Destiny's eyes widened. "Really? Really? But first finish your hot chocolate. Then I thought maybe you'd like to see the garden out back. We've got tomatoes and peppers and even some strawberries." "I love strawberries." "Then we'll pick some together." Rose led Destiny toward the back door, leaving Marcus alone with Bone and Razor. Marcus watched them go. Something in his chest felt strange. Tight, like it was being squeezed. "You okay?" Razor asked. "I don't know. I keep waiting for something bad to happen." "That's trauma," Razor said matter-of-factly. "Your brain's been in survival mode so long it doesn't know how to switch off. It'll take time." "How much time?" "Depends. Weeks, months, maybe years." Razor sat down across from him. "But it gets better. I promise you that. It gets better." Marcus stared at his coffee. "What was it like for you when you got out?" "Got out of what? Whatever you were running from. When you were my age." Razor was quiet for a moment. "Bad. I was angry all the time. Didn't trust anyone. Kept waiting for the other shoe to drop. Took me years to understand that not everyone was out to hurt me." "What changed? I found people who proved me wrong, over and over again. Every time I expected them to let me down, they showed up instead. Eventually, I started to believe that maybe, just maybe, the world wasn't as dark as I thought. And the anger, still there sometimes, but I learned to use it differently. Instead of destroying myself, I use it to protect people who need protecting." Razor looked at him steadily. "Kind of like what you did for your sister." Marcus shook his head. "I didn't protect her. Not really. I just ran. Running was protecting her. You got her out. You found help. That takes courage, Marcus. Real courage. It doesn't feel like courage. It feels like I failed, like I should have done something sooner." "Listen to me." Razor leaned forward. "You were a kid dealing with an adult problem. You did what you could with what you had. And when you couldn't handle it alone anymore, you asked for help. That's not failure. That's strength." Marcus didn't respond. He wanted to believe it. But 18 months of guilt didn't disappear overnight. The back door opened, and Destiny came running in her hands cupped carefully in front of her. "Marcus, look." She opened her hands to reveal 3 bright red strawberries. "Rose let me pick them myself. She said I could eat them, but I wanted to share with you." Marcus felt his throat tighten. "You're giving me your strawberries. You always share with me. Now I'm sharing with you." She held them out her face, so earnest, so hopeful. Marcus took 1 strawberry and bit into it. It was sweet, perfectly ripe. "That's really good, Destiny." Her whole face lit up. "I picked the best ones. Rose said I have a good eye." "She's right. You do." Destiny climbed up onto the stool beside him and ate her strawberries 1 tiny bite at a time, savoring each piece like it was precious. Rose came in behind her, dirt on her gardening gloves and a smile on her face. "She's a natural," Rose said. "Knew exactly which ones were ready to pick." "Can I help with the garden again tomorrow?" Destiny asked. Rose looked at Marcus. He nodded. "Of course you can, sweetheart. We'll check on the tomatoes." Destiny grinned and went back to her strawberries. For a moment, Marcus just watched her. She looked happy. Actually, happy. Not the fake happy she used to put on when CPS visited. Not the nervous happy she showed when Wayne was in a good mood. Real, genuine little kid happy. He hadn't seen that in so long he'd forgotten what it looked like. Bone appeared in the doorway. "Marcus, can I talk to you for a minute?" They walked to the back patio again. The afternoon sun was warm, but Marcus felt cold. "What's wrong?" "Nothing's wrong. I just got a call from Patricia, the lawyer." Marcus's stomach clenched. "And the emergency custody filing went through. CPS is expediting the investigation. They're inspecting Wayne's trailer tomorrow morning." "That's good, right?" "It's very good, but there's something else." Bone hesitated. Patricia found some things in Wayne's background, things that weren't on the surface. "What kind of things?" "He's got a record. Nothing major, petty theft, drunk and disorderly, a couple of assault charges that got pleaded down. But here's the thing." Bone's voice went hard. 10 years ago, he was investigated for child abuse in another state. Different kid, different family. Case got dropped when the mother refused to testify. Marcus felt like he'd been punched in the gut. "He's done this before." "Looks like it. Patricia's digging deeper. She thinks there might be more." "Why wasn't this caught? Why didn't CPS know?" "Different state. Records don't always transfer. The system's broken, Marcus. Has been for a long time." Marcus's hands curled into fists. "So he's been doing this to other kids. Before me. Before Destiny." "Probably. And nobody stopped him. Nobody stopped him then, but we're stopping him now." Marcus stood there breathing hard. All those years, all those kids, all that pain, and Wayne just kept moving on, finding new victims, hurting new children. "I want him gone," Marcus said quietly. "I want him to never be able to hurt anyone again." "I know, and that's what we're working toward. But we have to do this right. Legal, by the book. If we cut corners, he might slip through again. Like he slipped through before. Like he slipped through before." Bone put a hand on Marcus's shoulder. "I know it's hard. I know you want justice right now. But trust me, the best revenge is making sure those kids are safe, and he spends years thinking about what he did in a prison cell." Marcus nodded slowly. Okay. We do it your way." "Good man." They walked back inside. Destiny had finished her strawberries and was now showing Diesel her coloring book. "This one's a dragon," Destiny explained. "But not a mean dragon. A nice dragon that protects people." "I like that," Diesel said. "What's its name?" Destiny thought about it. "Marcus." Diesel looked up at Marcus in the doorway. He looked away, his face red. "That's a good name for a dragon," Diesel said softly. The afternoon passed slowly. Marcus tried to relax, but his body wouldn't cooperate. Every sound made him jump. Every car on the distant road made his heart race. Razor noticed. He didn't say anything. He just started teaching Marcus about the bikes. "This one's a 72 Shovelhead," Razor said, pointing to a half-assembled engine. "Bone's been rebuilding it for 3 years. Thing's his baby." 3 years. Can't rush perfection. Plus finding original parts is a nightmare. Marcus leaned in, curious despite himself. "What's that piece? Rocker arm. Controls the valves. These old engines, everything's mechanical. No computers. Just metal and oil, and knowing how things fit together." "Can I help?" Razor looked at him, surprised. "You want to? I need to do something. I can't just sit here." Razor nodded slowly. "Okay. Grab that wrench. The 916. I'll show you how to clean the carburetor." For the next hour, Marcus focused on nothing but metal and grease. His hands moved carefully, following Razor's instructions, learning the language of engines. It felt good. Simple. Pure. When the sun started to set, Rose called everyone for dinner. They ate together at the long table in the main room. Bone at the head, Rose beside him. Destiny between Rose and Marcus. Diesel razor chains and wrench filling the other seats. It felt strange. Like a family dinner. like something Marcus had only seen in movies. Destiny was talking to Chains about his tattoos. He was explaining each one what they meant when he got them, why they mattered. She listened with wide eyes, completely unafraid of the giant man with the scarred knuckles. "This one's for my daughter," Chains said, pointing to a small butterfly on his wrist. "She's 16 now, lives with her mom in Oregon." "Do you miss her?" "Every day." "Why don't you go see her?" Chains smiled sadly. "It's complicated, little one. Sometimes love isn't enough. Sometimes there's too much history." Destiny nodded like she understood. Maybe she did. After dinner, Marcus helped Rose with the dishes. They worked in comfortable silence, washing and drying stacking plates in the cabinet. "You're good at this," Rose said finally. "I've had practice. I did most of the cooking and cleaning at home. Wayne didn't—" He stopped. "You don't have to talk about it if you don't want to." "I know, it's just—" Marcus stared at the soapy water. "I keep waiting for this to end, for something to go wrong, for Wayne to crash through the door, or for CPS to show up and say there's been a mistake." "That's understandable. Is it because I feel crazy? I'm in a safe place with good people, and all I can think about is everything that could go wrong." Rose dried her hands and turned to face him. "Marcus, I spent the first 5 years of my marriage waiting for Bone to leave me. Waiting for him to decide I was too broken, too damaged, too much trouble. I pushed him away, tested him, did everything I could to prove he'd abandon me like everyone else. What happened? He stayed. Every time I pushed, he stayed. Every time I expected him to walk out, he pulled me closer. Eventually, I started to believe he meant it when he said he loved me. How long did that take? Years. But it happened. And it'll happen for you too. It just takes time and people who show up consistently." Marcus nodded slowly. "I hope you're right." "I know I'm right," Rose smiled. "Now finish those dishes. Destiny wants you to read her a bedtime story." Marcus found Destiny already in her pajamas, sitting on the cot with her dragon book open. "Will you read to me?" she asked. He sat down beside her and started reading. The story was simple, a girl who found a dragon egg and raised it in secret, but Destiny hung on every word. Halfway through chapter 3, she started yawning. By chapter 4, her eyes were closing. "Marcus," she mumbled. "Yeah, are we going to be okay?" He looked at her small face, her trusting eyes, her fingers still curled around the stuffed elephant that had seen too many bad nights. "Yeah, Destiny, we're going to be okay. Promise, I promise." She smiled sleepily and closed her eyes. Within minutes, she was asleep. Marcus sat there in the darkness watching her breathe. Through the window he could see Razor doing a perimeter check. Chains was on the front gate. Bone was still in his office making calls. An entire club watching over them, protecting them. Marcus still didn't fully believe it, still didn't fully trust it. But for the first time in 18 months he felt something that wasn't fear. It was hope. And it terrified him more than Wayne ever had. The morning started with sirens. Marcus jolted awake, his heart slamming against his ribs. Destiny was still asleep beside him, her hand wrapped around his wrist like she was afraid he'd disappear. He could hear voices outside. Bone. Razor. Someone else. He slipped his hand free and moved to the window. 2 police cars sat outside the gate. An officer was talking to Bone, gesturing toward the clubhouse. Behind them, a woman in a gray suit held a clipboard. CPS. Marcus's stomach dropped. This was it. They were going to take Destiny. They were going to separate them. Everything they'd fought for was about to fall apart. He was reaching for his shoes when Rose appeared in the doorway. "Marcus, Come with me. What's happening? Are they taking her? No one's taking anyone. Just come with me. He followed her to Bone's office. The CPS worker was already inside, sitting across from Bone. The police officers waited outside. Marcus. Bone gestured to a chair. Sit down. This is Monica. She's the CPS caseworker Patricia told us about. Monica looked up from her clipboard. She was younger than Marcus expected. Kind eyes, tired face, the face of someone who'd seen too much and kept showing up anyway. Hi, Marcus. I'm not here to take your sister away. He didn't believe her. Then why are you here? Because I need to hear what happened, directly from you. And I need to examine Destiny to document any injuries. Monica's voice was gentle, but firm. This is how we build a case, Marcus. This is how we make sure Wayne never hurts either of you again. You're going to arrest him. That depends on what we find. But I'm going to be honest with you based on what I've already seen. This is one of the worst cases I've handled in years. Marcus felt his throat tighten. What did you find? Monica hesitated. She looked at Bone. Tell him, Bone said. He deserves to know. Monica set down her clipboard. We inspected Wayne's trailer this morning. What we found... She paused. There were locks on the bedroom doors, from the outside. There was barely any food in the refrigerator. The children's room had a mattress on the floor, no sheets, no blankets. And we found... Her voice caught. We found a closet with marks on the wall, scratch marks, like someone had been locked inside. Marcus closed his eyes. He knew that closet. He knew those marks. That's where he put Destiny when she broke his rules, Marcus said quietly. Sometimes for hours, sometimes overnight. And I usually took her punishment instead, when I could. Monica wrote something on her clipboard. Her hand was shaking slightly. Marcus, I need you to tell me everything, from the beginning. Can you do that? He didn't want to. He wanted to forget all of it. But if this was what it took to keep Destiny safe, he'd relive every moment. Yeah, I can do that. For the next hour, Marcus talked. He told Monica about the day his mother left, about the note on the counter, about Wayne showing up 3 weeks later with a smile and promises and a wallet full of cash. He told her about the rules, about the silence after 8 p.m., about the food rationing, about the punishments. He told her about the first time Wayne hit Destiny, how Marcus had thrown himself between them, how Wayne had laughed and hit him instead. He told her about the closet, about the darkness, about Destiny's screams when the door locked behind her. He told her everything. When he finished, Monica was crying. She wiped her eyes quickly, trying to be professional. I'm sorry, she said. I'm supposed to stay neutral. But Marcus, what you and your sister went through, no child should ever have to experience that. Is it enough to arrest him? It's more than enough. But I need to examine Destiny, too. Document the physical evidence. Marcus's jaw tightened. She's scared of doctors. She's scared of anyone touching her. I understand. I'll be gentle. And you can stay with her the whole time. He nodded slowly. Okay, but if she says stop, we stop. Absolutely. They woke Destiny together. She was groggy, confused, and when she saw Monica, her face went pale. Who's that? This is Monica, Marcus said. She's here to help us. She needs to look at your arms and your back, just like Razor did. Is that okay? Destiny looked at Monica for a long moment, then at Marcus. You'll stay with me. I'm not going anywhere. Okay. The examination was quick, but thorough. Monica photographed every bruise, every scar, every mark that told the story of what Wayne had done. Destiny didn't cry. She held Marcus's hand and stared at the wall, and went somewhere else in her mind, somewhere safe. When it was over, Monica put away her camera. "You're very brave, Destiny. My brother says brave is doing scary things even when you're scared." "Your brother is right." Monica looked at Marcus. "You both are." Outside, the police officers were getting restless. One of them approached Bone. "We need to get moving. If we're arresting this guy, we need to do it before he runs." Bone turned to Monica. "You have enough?" "More than enough. I'm recommending immediate arrest and full custody transfer." "Then let's go get him." Marcus stepped forward. "I want to come." Bone shook his head. "Absolutely not. He hurt my sister. He hurt me. I want to see him in handcuffs." "And what happens if something goes wrong? What happens if he has a weapon? What happens if you get hurt?" Bone's voice was hard. "You've already been through enough, Marcus. Let us handle this." "But stay here. Watch your sister. Let the adults do their job for once." Marcus wanted to argue. Every cell in his body wanted to argue. But he looked at Destiny still sitting on the cot with her stuffed elephant, and he knew Bone was right. "Fine. But you tell me everything that happens. Every detail." The police cars pulled out, followed by Bone and Razor on their bikes. Marcus watched them go until they disappeared down the road. Then he went back inside to wait. The next 2 hours were the longest of Marcus's life. He tried to distract Destiny with coloring books and dragon stories. He tried to focus on the carburetor Razor had been teaching him about. He tried to eat the sandwich Rose made him. Nothing worked. His mind kept going to the same place. Wayne's face when he saw the police. Wayne's voice when he realized it was over. Wayne's hands, those brutal hands being cuffed behind his back. Please let it be over. Please let it be over. Please. The rumble of motorcycles broke through his thoughts. He ran to the window. Bone and Razor were pulling through the gate. Behind them, a police car. Marcus burst through the door. "What happened? Did you get him?" Bone climbed off his bike. His face was grim. "He's gone." The words hit Marcus like a fist. "What do you mean he's gone?" "The trailer was empty, cleaned out. He must have left sometime during the night." No. "He's running. Looks like it." Marcus's legs went weak. He grabbed the fence to keep from falling. "He's going to get away. He's going to disappear and start over and hurt some other kid and—" "Marcus!" Bone grabbed his shoulders. "Listen to me. He's not getting away. We've got an APB out on his truck. Every cop in 3 counties is looking for him. He's not smart enough to stay hidden for long." "But what if he is? What if he—" "He won't, I promise you." Marcus wanted to scream, wanted to punch something, wanted to run into the street and hunt Wayne down himself. Instead, he just stood there shaking. Destiny appeared in the doorway. She took one look at Marcus's face and knew. He's not in jail. "Not yet, sweetheart." Rose put an arm around her. "But they're looking for him." Destiny's lower lip trembled. "He's going to come back. He always comes back." "He's not going to get anywhere near you," Bone said firmly. "I've got men on every road in and out of here. If he so much as shows his face within 10 miles, we'll know about it." Destiny didn't look convinced. Neither did Marcus. The rest of the day passed in tense silence. Chains and Wrench took shifts at the gate. Diesel patrolled the perimeter. Rose kept Destiny occupied with baking cookies, but even the smell of chocolate chips couldn't ease the fear in the air. Marcus couldn't sit still. He paced. He cleaned tools that were already clean. He checked the windows every 5 minutes. When darkness fell, his anxiety peaked. Wayne liked the night. Wayne did his worst work in the dark. "You need to sleep," Rose told him. "I can't." "Marcus, I can't, not until they find him." Rose sighed, but didn't push. She brought him coffee instead. At 11 p.m., Bone's phone rang. Everyone froze. Bone answered. Listened. His face changed. Where? How long ago? More listening. Keep him there. We're on our way. He hung up. They found him. Marcus's heart stopped. Where? Gas station about 40 miles north. He's being held by the state police. Is it over? He's in custody, Marcus. It's over. Marcus sat down hard. His legs simply gave out. It was over. After 18 months of fear and pain and running, it was finally over. Destiny came running when she heard the news. She threw her arms around Marcus and held on like she'd never let go. He can't hurt us anymore. No, baby. He can't hurt us anymore. They held each other and cried. Not sad tears. Relief tears. The kind of tears that come when a weight you've carried so long you forgot you were carrying it suddenly lifts off your shoulders. Bone watched them. Something shifted in his face. Something soft. There's more, he said. Marcus looked up. More. When they searched his truck, they found evidence. A lot of evidence. Photographs. Documents. Things he kept from before. Remember what Patricia found. The investigation in the other state turns out that wasn't the only one. They found records of at least 4 other families. 4 other kids. Marcus felt sick. 4. Maybe more. They're still going through everything. 4 other kids. 4 other destinies and Marcus's. 4 other nightmares that nobody stopped. Until now. Will they all testify? Marcus asked. That's the hope. With this much evidence, this many victims, Wayne's not getting out of prison for a very long time. Destiny pulled back and looked up at Marcus. We helped them, she said softly. The other kids, we helped them. Marcus hadn't thought of it that way, but she was right. By finding help, by telling the truth, they'd done more than save themselves. They'd given other victims a voice. Yeah, Marcus said. I guess we did. Rose brought out the cookies Destiny had helped bake. They ate them at midnight, sitting around the table, sugar on their lips, and hope in their hearts. It still didn't feel real. 3 days ago, Marcus had been living in hell. Now he was eating cookies with bikers who'd become his family. Life was strange that way. Bone raised his coffee cup. To the bravest damn kids I've ever met. Everyone raised their cups, even Destiny with her hot chocolate. To being brave, she said seriously. They drank, and for the first time in 18 months, Marcus didn't check the windows before going to sleep. He was finally safe. They both were. The next morning, Patricia arrived with news. The custody hearing is scheduled for next week, she said. Given the circumstances, I expect it to move quickly. Rose will be named temporary guardian with the club providing housing and support. Temporary? Marcus asked. What happens after? That depends. If no suitable family members are found, and based on my research, there aren't any, permanent guardianship will be considered. Possibly adoption. Marcus looked at Rose. She was stirring her coffee, her face carefully neutral. Would you want that? He asked her. Rose set down her spoon. Marcus, I've been praying for children my whole life. Bone and I couldn't have our own. We made peace with it a long time ago. But if you and Destiny wanted to stay, truly stay, her voice cracked. Nothing would make me happier. Destiny grabbed Rose's hand. I want to stay. Can we stay, Marcus? Please. Marcus looked around the room. At Bone, who'd opened his gate at midnight for 2 strangers. At Razor, who'd tended their wounds and taught them about engines. At Chains and Diesel and Wrench, who'd stood guard while they slept. At Rose, who'd fed them and held them and loved them without asking for anything in return. Yeah, Marcus said. We can stay. Destiny squealed and threw her arms around Rose. Rose laughed and hugged her back, tears streaming down her face. Bone walked over and put a hand on Marcus's shoulder. "Welcome to the family, kid." Marcus nodded. He didn't trust himself to speak. But for the first time in his life, he understood what family really meant. It wasn't blood. It wasn't obligation. It wasn't fear. It was choice. And these people had chosen them. That afternoon, Marcus helped Bone with the shovelhead engine. They worked in comfortable silence, passing tools back and forth, making slow progress on the decades-old project. "Can I ask you something?" Marcus said. "Shoot. Why did you open the gate that night? You didn't know us. We could have been anyone." Bone was quiet for a moment, turning a bolt over in his fingers. "I saw myself," he finally said. 40 years ago. Running from something bad. Looking for somewhere safe." He set down the bolt. "Someone opened a door for me that night, too. Changed my whole life. I figured it was time to pass it on. What would have happened if they hadn't opened that door? I'd be dead, or in prison, or worse." Bone looked at him. "That's why I opened the gate, Marcus. Because I know what happens when people turn away, and I know what happens when they don't." Marcus nodded slowly. "Someday," Bone continued, "you're going to be in a position to help someone else. Someone scared. Someone desperate. Someone who's got nowhere else to go. And I should help them. You should help them. That's how this works. That's how we make the world a little less broken, one person at a time." Marcus picked up a wrench and went back to work. He understood now. The weight he'd been carrying, the weight of keeping Destiny safe, of being everything for her, it wasn't his alone anymore. They had a family now, a real one, and families protected each other. The sun was setting when Destiny found them in the garage. She was holding a piece of paper, her face split in a wide grin. "Look what I drew." Marcus wiped his hands and took the paper. It was a family portrait. Rose in the center, Bone beside her, Marcus and Destiny in front, and behind them a row of motorcycles and people in leather jackets. At the top, in crayon letters, "My family." "That's beautiful, Destiny. Rose said she's going to frame it and put it on the wall." "It deserves to be on the wall." Destiny beamed. Then her face went serious. "Marcus, I'm not scared anymore." He crouched down to her level. No, I was really scared before. All the time. But now I'm not." She hugged her stuffed elephant. "Because we have people who protect us. Like dragons." "Like dragons," Marcus agreed. She smiled and ran back toward the house, her drawing clutched in her hand. Marcus watched her go. She was going to be okay. They both were. It wouldn't be easy. There would be therapy and court dates and nightmares that didn't disappear overnight. But they weren't alone anymore. And that made all the difference. Rose called them for dinner as the last light faded from the sky. Marcus walked toward the house, Bone beside him, the smell of home cooking filling the air. Behind them, the Hells Angels' gate stood closed and locked. But for the first time, it wasn't keeping anyone out. It was keeping them safe. The courthouse steps felt like climbing a mountain. Marcus held Destiny's hand as they walked through the metal detectors. She was wearing a new dress Rose had bought her, blue with white flowers. Her hair was braided neatly, her stuffed elephant hidden in Rose's purse. "I'm scared," Destiny whispered. "Me too." "You are..." "Yeah. But we're going to do this together, just like always." Patricia met them in the hallway. She was carrying a stack of files thick enough to stop a bullet. "How are we feeling?" "Terrified," Marcus admitted. "Good. That means you're taking this seriously." Patricia checked her watch. We're up in 20 minutes. Remember what I told you. Answer only what's asked. Don't volunteer extra information, and if you don't remember something, say so. What if I mess up? You won't. And even if you did, we have enough evidence to bury Wayne 10 times over. Patricia softened slightly. But your testimony matters, Marcus. It puts a human face on what he did. It makes the jury feel it. Marcus nodded. His hands were shaking. Rose appeared with coffee for the adults and juice for Destiny. Deep breaths, she said. You've survived worse than this. She was right. He had. But somehow facing Wayne in a courtroom felt more terrifying than facing him in that trailer. The doors opened. A bailiff called their names. It was time. The courtroom was smaller than Marcus expected. Wooden benches, a judge's platform, 2 tables facing each other. Wayne sat at one of those tables. Marcus froze the moment he saw him. Wayne was wearing a suit. His hair was combed. His face was clean-shaven. He looked respectable. Normal. Like someone's friendly neighbor. Not like a monster. But then Wayne turned and looked at Marcus, and there it was. That coldness in his eyes. That barely hidden rage. Marcus felt Destiny's grip tighten on his hand. Don't look at him, Rose whispered. Look at me. Look at the judge. Look anywhere else. They took their seats in the front row. Bone was there wearing a jacket over his leather vest. Razor sat beside him, arms crossed. Face hard. Diesel and Chains were in the back, watching everything. The Hells Angels had come in force. The judge entered. Everyone stood. Then sat. And it began. Patricia's opening statement was surgical. She laid out the facts like bricks building a wall of evidence that Wayne couldn't climb over. The abuse, the neglect, the previous victims, the photographs found in his truck, the testimony from 4 other families who'd suffered before Marcus and Destiny. By the time she finished, the jury looked sick. Wayne's lawyer tried to fight back. He talked about misunderstandings, about troubled children who made things up, about a system that persecuted innocent men. Nobody bought it. Then came the witnesses. Monica went first. She described what she'd found at the trailer. The locks, the empty refrigerator, the scratch marks in the closet. In my 15 years as a social worker, Monica said, I have never seen conditions this bad. These children were living in a prison. The other victims testified by video link. Their faces were blurred, their voices distorted, but their stories were devastatingly familiar. The same rules, the same punishments, the same closet. Wayne had been doing this for over a decade, moving from state to state, family to family, child to child, always escaping, always finding new victims. Until now. When Marcus was called to the stand, his legs felt like lead. He walked to the witness box, raised his right hand, swore to tell the truth. Wayne's eyes were on him the whole time, burning. Patricia approached gently. Marcus, can you tell us about your life before Wayne came? It was just me and Destiny and Mom. We weren't rich, but we were okay. Mom worked 2 jobs. I helped with Destiny after school. We were a family. And then your mother left. She left a note on the counter. Said she couldn't do it anymore. That was 18 months ago. I haven't seen her since. And Wayne, Marcus's jaw tightened. He showed up 3 weeks later. Said Mom had asked him to look after us. I didn't believe him, but what could I do? We had nowhere else to go. Can you describe what life was like with Wayne? Marcus took a breath. There were rules, a lot of rules. No talking after 8 p.m., no touching the refrigerator without permission, no leaving toys out, no making noise, no crying. And if the rules were broken, we got punished. How? Marcus looked at Destiny sitting in the front row between Rose and Bone. She gave him a small nod. He would hit us. Lock us in the closet. Withhold food. Destiny was locked in that closet overnight once because she left her stuffed animal on the couch. The jury shifted uncomfortably. Did you ever try to get help? Twice. CPS came twice. Both times Wayne cleaned up and put on a show. The social workers believed him, not us. And the police? Once. They said they couldn't do anything without evidence. So you stayed. I stayed because I had to protect Destiny. If I left, she'd be alone with him. I couldn't let that happen. Patricia paused, letting the words sink in. What made you finally run? Marcus closed his eyes. The memory was still raw. Wayne had been drinking, more than usual. Destiny accidentally knocked over a glass in the kitchen. He grabbed her and called her. Marcus stopped, swallowed hard. He called her a word I won't repeat, said she didn't belong in his house, said he was going to teach her a lesson she'd never forget. What did you do? I hit him, with a frying pan. He went down and I grabbed Destiny and we ran. I didn't know where we were going. I just knew we had to get out. And that's how you ended up at the Hells Angels clubhouse. Yes, I'd heard stories about them, about how they helped kids sometimes. I didn't know if it was true, but I had no other options. Patricia nodded. Thank you, Marcus. No further questions. Wayne's lawyer stood up slowly. He was older with a practiced smile that didn't reach his eyes. Marcus, isn't it true that you and your mother had a troubled relationship? I don't know what you mean. Isn't it true that your mother frequently left you and your sister alone for extended periods? Marcus hesitated. She worked 2 jobs. Sometimes she wasn't home until late. So you were already experiencing neglect before my client ever entered the picture. Patricia stood. Objection. Relevance. I'm establishing a pattern, Your Honor. The judge nodded. Overruled, but tread carefully, Counselor. The lawyer continued. Isn't it possible, Marcus, that your resentment toward my client stems from the fact that he represented authority, that he was trying to provide structure that you rejected? He wasn't providing structure. He was hurting us. But you admit you hit him with a frying pan. To protect my sister. And yet you're the one who committed assault. My client never laid a hand on you, did he? Marcus stared at him. He hit me dozens of times. He locked my sister in a closet. He starved us. That's your claim. But where's the proof? The bruises, the scars, the other families who testified? The lawyer smiled that oily smile. Other families with their own agendas. Other children with their own troubled histories. Marcus felt his control slipping. Those children are telling the truth. I'm telling the truth. Your client is a monster. Objection, the lawyer shouted. Sustained. The witness will refrain from characterizations. Marcus gripped the railing of the witness box. His knuckles went white. The lawyer leaned in. Isn't it convenient, Marcus, that you found refuge with the Hells Angels, a notorious motorcycle gang with a history of violence? They saved us. Or did they see an opportunity, a chance to play hero, to stick it to law enforcement? Patricia was on her feet. Objection. This is outrageous speculation. Withdrawn. The lawyer backed off, but the damage was done. He'd planted a seed. Marcus stepped down from the witness box, feeling like he'd been through a war. Destiny was next. She walked to the stand, slowly clutching her stuffed elephant that Rose had slipped to her at the last moment. The judge had allowed it. Hi, Destiny, Patricia said gently. Can you tell me how old you are? 10? And do you know why we're here today? To tell the truth about what happened. That's right. Can you tell me about Wayne? Destiny looked at her elephant, then at Marcus. He was mean. He yelled a lot. He didn't like me. Why do you say that? Because he said so. He said I didn't belong there. He said I was different. Different how? Destiny's voice dropped to a whisper. Because I'm black. The courtroom went silent. Did Wayne ever use words about your race that hurt you? Destiny nodded. Can you tell us? He called me names, bad names. He said my real mom didn't want me because I was dirty. But that's not true. Marcus said that's not true. Marcus is right. That's not true. Patricia paused. Destiny, did Wayne ever hurt you physically? Yes. How? He hit me. He pushed me. He locked me in the dark. How often? A lot. Destiny's eyes filled with tears. I tried to be good. I tried really hard, but I could never be good enough. Marcus wanted to run to her, to hold her, to take away every ounce of pain she was feeling, but he couldn't. Not yet. Who protected you when Wayne hurt you? Patricia asked. Marcus. Destiny's voice broke. Marcus always protected me. He took the hits instead of me. He gave me his food when there wasn't enough. He made sure I wasn't alone in the closet. What would you want to say to Marcus right now? Destiny looked at her brother. Tears streamed down her face. Thank you for not leaving me, even when it was really hard. Thank you for being my dragon. Half the jury was crying. Even the judge looked moved. Wayne's lawyer had the sense not to cross-examine her. The closing arguments were brief. Patricia painted a picture of systematic abuse of a predator who moved from victim to victim for over a decade. She pointed to the evidence, the testimonies, the pattern that couldn't be denied. Wayne's lawyer made a half-hearted argument about reasonable doubt and circumstantial evidence. Nobody believed him. The jury deliberated for 47 minutes. Guilty. On all counts. Wayne's face went white. For just a moment his mask slipped and Marcus saw the real man underneath. The scared, pathetic bully who only felt powerful when he was hurting children. The judge set sentencing for 2 weeks later. Bailiffs led Wayne away in handcuffs. As he passed, Marcus Wayne leaned in close. This isn't over, he hissed. Marcus didn't flinch. Yes, it is. Outside the courthouse, Destiny threw herself into Rose's arms. Is it really over? Is he really going to jail? He's really going to jail, sweetheart. For a very, very long time. Destiny looked at Marcus. We did it. We did it. Bone stepped forward. He didn't say anything. He just put a hand on Marcus's shoulder and squeezed. It was enough. The ride back to the clubhouse felt different. Lighter, somehow. Marcus sat in the back of Rose's car, Destiny asleep against his shoulder. She was holding her elephant in one hand and Marcus's fingers in the other. She looked peaceful. Really, truly peaceful. Marcus watched the road blur past and let himself feel something he'd almost forgotten existed. Hope. Not the fragile, desperate hope he'd felt when he knocked on the clubhouse door that night. This was different. Solid. Real. They had won. Wayne was going to prison. The other victims would get justice. And Marcus and Destiny, they had a home, a family, a future. Rose caught his eye in the rearview mirror. You okay back there? Yeah. Marcus smiled slightly. I think I'm actually okay. 2 weeks later, they returned to the courthouse for sentencing. The judge looked at Wayne with barely concealed disgust. In my 23 years on the bench, I have rarely seen a case this disturbing. You preyed on the most vulnerable members of our society. Children who had already lost so much. Children who had no one else to turn to. Wayne stared straight ahead, expressionless. Marcus and Destiny found the courage to escape your abuse, and the strength to testify against you. They did what no adult in their lives had been able to do. They stopped you. The judge's voice hardened. The sentence of this court is as follows. On the counts of child abuse, child neglect, and child endangerment, I sentence you to 25 years in state prison. On the hate crime enhancements, I sentence you to an additional 10 years to be served consecutively. Marcus did the math. 35 years. Wayne would be an old man when he got out. If he got out. Additionally, the judge continued, you are hereby prohibited from any contact with minors for the remainder of your life, and you are ordered to register as a child abuser in any state where you reside. Wayne's lawyer whispered something. Wayne shook his head. Do you have anything to say before you are remanded into custody? Wayne stood slowly. He looked at Marcus, then at Destiny. For a moment, Marcus thought he might apologize, might show some shred of humanity. Instead, Wayne said, I gave those kids a roof over their heads. I put food on the table. This is the thanks I get. The judge's expression went cold. Take him away. The bailiffs led Wayne out. He didn't look back. Marcus sat in the wooden pew long after everyone else had left. Destiny was outside with Rose eating ice cream to celebrate. Bone and the others were waiting by the bikes. But Marcus needed a moment. Just a moment. It was over. Really, truly over. No more looking over his shoulder. No more checking locks. No more lying awake, listening for footsteps. He was free. They both were. Patricia sat down beside him. How are you feeling? I don't know. Empty, maybe? Like I've been carrying something so heavy for so long that I don't know what to do now that it's gone. Patricia nodded. That's normal. Give yourself time to adjust. This is a lot to process. What happens now? Now you heal. You go to school. You be a kid for the first time in 18 months. She smiled. You let people take care of you for a change. Marcus looked at his hands, the same hands that had held frying pans and doorknobs and his sister's fingers in the dark. I don't know how to do that. You'll learn. You have people who want to teach you. Patricia stood. Go celebrate Marcus. You earned it. He found them outside. Bone and Rose razor and diesel chains and wrench. Destiny was sitting on Bone's motorcycle pretending to drive, her face lit up with joy. There he is, Bone said. The man of the hour. Marcus walked over. 35 years. I heard. It's a good number. Is it enough? It's enough. Bone put an arm around his shoulders. Now come on. Rose made a cake. Chocolate. Your sister's been eyeing it all day. They rode back to the clubhouse as a group. Marcus sat behind Razor, the wind in his face, the sun on his back. He thought about the night he'd knocked on that gate, the desperation, the fear, the certainty that everything was about to fall apart. And now here he was, part of a family he'd never expected, surrounded by people who had chosen him. Life was funny that way. The clubhouse was decorated when they arrived. Streamers and balloons that looked ridiculous against the backdrop of motorcycles and leather. A banner hung across the main room, justice served. Destiny ran inside and immediately went for the cake. Wait, Rose laughed. We have to sing first. Sing what? I don't know. Something celebratory. Rose looked at Bone. Do bikers have a victory song? Chains started singing We Are the Champions, completely off-key. Everyone joined in. It was terrible and wonderful and absolutely perfect. They ate cake and told stories and laughed until their sides hurt. Marcus sat in the middle of it all, watching his sister dance with Diesel, watching Rose and Bone hold hands at the table, watching this unlikely family celebrate a hard-won victory. He still had nightmares sometimes, still flinched at loud noises, still checked the locks before bed, but those things were getting better. Slowly. Day by day. And he wasn't facing them alone. That night, after everyone else had gone to bed, Marcus found Bone on the back patio. "Can't sleep?" Bone asked. "Too much in my head." "Yeah, I get that." Bone gestured to the chair beside him. "Sit." They sat in silence for a while, looking up at the stars. "Thank you," Marcus finally said. "For what? Everything. Opening the gate, believing us, fighting for us." Marcus's voice cracked. "You didn't have to do any of it." "Yeah, I did." Bone was quiet for a moment. "When you've been given a second chance, you learn to recognize when someone else needs one too. You and Destiny, you needed one. We just provided it. It was more than that. Maybe." Bone looked at him. "You know what I see when I look at you, Marcus? What? I see a kid who became a man too early, who carried a weight no child should have to carry, who never gave up even when everything was stacked against him." Bone smiled slightly. "I see someone who's going to do great things, not because of what happened to him, but in spite of it." Marcus didn't know what to say, so he just nodded. They sat together until the stars began to fade, and the first light of dawn crept over the horizon. A new day, a new beginning. And finally, Marcus was ready for it. 6 months changed everything. Marcus stood in front of the bathroom mirror, adjusting the tie Rose had bought him. His hands were steady now. They hadn't shaken in weeks. "You look weird," Destiny said from the doorway. "Thanks, really helpful. You never wear ties." "Today's special." Destiny walked in and sat on the edge of the bathtub. She was wearing the same blue dress from the courthouse, but she'd grown since then. Rose had let out the hem twice already. "Are you nervous?" Marcus considered lying. He didn't. "Yeah, a little." "Don't be. It's going to be good." "How do you know?" Destiny smiled. "Because you deserve good things. And so do I." Marcus looked at his sister. She'd changed too. Grown taller, yes, but it was more than that. The fear that used to live behind her eyes had faded. She laughed now, made friends at her new school, slept through the night without screaming. She was becoming the kid she'd always deserved to be. "Come on," Marcus said. "Rose is going to kill us if we're late." They walked into the main room together. The clubhouse had been transformed. Chairs arranged in neat rows, flowers on every surface, a banner that read, "Forever Family." Today was Adoption Day. Rose was already crying, and the ceremony hadn't even started. "Stop looking at me," she said, dabbing her eyes. "I'm fine." Bone put an arm around her. "You've been crying since breakfast." "These are happy tears. There's a difference." The judge arrived at 10 o'clock sharp. Not the same judge from Wayne's trial, but another one. Older, kinder, with a smile that crinkled the corners of his eyes. "Is everyone ready?" Marcus looked at Destiny. She nodded. "We're ready." They stood before the judge, Rose and Bone on one side, Marcus and Destiny on the other. The Hells Angels filled the chairs behind them. Razor, Diesel, Chains, Wrench, a dozen others who'd become family in ways blood never could. "We're here today for something wonderful," the judge said. "The creation of a family, not by birth but by choice, which in my experience is the strongest kind of family there is." Patricia stood nearby, holding the paperwork that would make it official. "Marcus," the judge continued, "do you wish to be legally adopted by Rose and Robert Stone, Robert?" Marcus had almost forgotten that was Bone's real name. Yes, sir, I do. And Destiny, do you wish to be legally adopted by Rose and Robert Stone? Destiny squeezed Marcus's hand. Yes, more than anything. The judge smiled. Rose and Robert, do you wish to adopt Marcus and Destiny as your legal children with all the rights and responsibilities that entails? Rose could barely speak. Yes? Absolutely yes. Then by the power vested in me by the state, I hereby declare that Marcus and Destiny are now legally the children of Rose and Robert Stone. The judge banged his gavel. Congratulations, you're a family. The room erupted. Diesel was crying. Chains was crying. Even Razor's eyes were suspiciously wet. Rose grabbed both kids and pulled them into a hug so tight Marcus thought his ribs might crack. My babies, she sobbed. My beautiful, brave babies. Bone wrapped his arms around all three of them. His voice was rough when he spoke. Welcome home. Destiny looked up at Marcus. We have a mom and dad now. Yeah, Destiny. We do. Does this mean I have to call them Mom and Dad? Rose laughed through her tears. You can call us whatever you want, sweetheart. I want to call you Mom. Destiny turned to Bone. And you Dad. Is that okay? Bone's jaw tightened. He nodded once, unable to speak. Destiny threw her arms around him. Thank you for being my dad. Marcus watched them, his heart so full it hurt. This was real. This was actually happening. After everything they'd been through, after all the pain and fear and darkness, they'd found light. They'd found home. The party lasted all day. Razor manned the grill flipping burgers with military precision. Diesel had brought a 3-tiered cake from the bakery downtown. Chains had strung lights everywhere, even though it was the middle of the afternoon. Marcus moved through it all in a daze. People kept hugging him, congratulating him, telling him how happy they were. It was overwhelming, in the best possible way. He found a quiet moment on the back patio, watching the sun start its descent toward the horizon. Bone found him there. Escaping your own party. Just needed a minute. Ken Bone nodded and sat down beside him. Big day. The biggest. They sat in comfortable silence. After 6 months, they'd learned each other's rhythms. When to talk. When to just be. I never thought I'd have kids, Bone said finally. Rose and I tried for years. It never happened. We made peace with it. And then we showed up. And then you showed up. Bone smiled slightly. Knocking on the gate at midnight, bleeding and desperate, carrying your sister like she was the most precious thing in the world. She is? I know. I saw it in your eyes that first night. The way you stood in front of her. The way you wouldn't sit down until you knew she was safe. Bone shook his head. I knew right then that you were something special. Marcus stared at his hands. I was just doing what I had to do. That's what makes it special. Most people run when things get hard. You ran toward the fire. You kept running toward it for 18 months. Bone put a hand on his shoulder. That's not nothing, Marcus. That's everything. I couldn't have done it without you. Without everyone. Maybe not. But you found us. You made the choice to ask for help. That's the hardest part for people like us. People like us, survivors. Bone's voice was quiet. We learn early that we can only count on ourselves. Asking for help feels like weakness. But it's not. It's strength. It takes more courage to knock on that door than to keep running. Marcus thought about that night. The terror. The desperation. The moment he'd decided to bet everything on a group of bikers he'd only heard rumors about. I almost didn't, he admitted. I almost kept running. But Destiny was so tired and I was so scared and I saw the lights on in the clubhouse and I just I just hoped. Hope's a powerful thing. It's all I had left. And now, Marcus looked back at the party, at Destiny dancing with Rose, at Diesel and Chains arguing about something probably stupid, at Razor carefully guarding the cake from early eaters. Now I have everything. The party wound down as darkness fell. Destiny had crashed on the couch, worn out from dancing and sugar and pure joy. Rose was covering her with a blanket. Marcus helped Razor clean up the grill. Heard you're starting at Jefferson High next month, Razor said. Yeah, junior year. How you feeling about it? Marcus shrugged. Nervous. I haven't been in a real school in almost 2 years. You'll be fine. You're smart. You work hard. And if anyone gives you trouble, I know. I've got 50 Hell's Angels who'll have my back. Razor grinned. Damn right. They finished cleaning in comfortable silence. Then Razor said something that caught Marcus off guard. You know you remind me of myself at your age. How so? Angry, scared, pretending to be strong when everything inside was falling apart. Razor set down the scrub brush. I joined the army at 18 to get away from my past. Thought if I ran far enough, fast enough, I could outrun it. Did it work? For a while. Then it caught up to me. It always does. Razor looked at him seriously. Don't make my mistake, Marcus. Don't run from what happened. Face it. Deal with it. Let people help you through it. I'm trying. I know. And you're doing good. Really good. Razor smiled. Just don't forget that healing isn't a destination. It's a journey. Some days are better than others. And that's okay. Marcus nodded slowly. Thanks, Razor. Anytime, kid. Later that night, Marcus sat with Destiny on the couch. She'd woken up just long enough to demand that Marcus read to her. The Dragon Book, again. Chapter 12, she murmured sleepily. That's my favorite. You've said that about every chapter. They're all my favorite. Marcus smiled and started reading. The words were familiar now, worn smooth by repetition. But Destiny never got tired of them. Neither did he. Halfway through the chapter, Destiny interrupted. Marcus, yeah. Do you think Mom is okay? Our real Mom? The question hit him like a punch. He closed the book slowly. I don't know, Destiny. I really don't. Do you think she thinks about us? Maybe. I hope so. Destiny was quiet for a moment. Then, I used to be really mad at her. For leaving. For not coming back. And now I'm just sad. I think she was sick, Marcus. Sick in a way that doctors can't fix. And she knew she couldn't take care of us anymore, so she left. Marcus felt his throat tighten. When did you get so wise? Rose told me. She said some people love us but can't be with us. It doesn't mean they don't care. It just means they're fighting their own battles. Rose is pretty smart. Yeah. Destiny snuggled closer. But you're smarter. You kept us alive until we found her. Marcus didn't know what to say. So he just held his sister and let the silence speak for him. Marcus, yeah. I'm glad we knocked on that door. Me too, Destiny. Me too. A year later, everything was different. Marcus was a senior at Jefferson High. Honor roll. Captain of the debate team. Accepted to 3 colleges with full scholarships. Destiny was thriving in middle school. She had friends who came over for sleepovers. She'd joined the art club and the gardening club. Her drawings now covered every wall of the house Rose and Bone had bought near the clubhouse. The house. Their house. It still felt unreal sometimes. Marcus was in his room working on his college essay when Rose knocked on the door. You have a visitor. Who? Rose's face was complicated. You should come see for yourself." He walked downstairs, expecting one of his friends from school. Maybe a college recruiter. Instead, he found a woman standing in the living room. Thin, worn, gray streaks in hair that used to be blonde. His mother. The world stopped. "Marcus." Her voice was barely a whisper. Oh my God. Marcus. He couldn't move. Couldn't speak. Every emotion he'd suppressed for 2.5 years came crashing back at once. Destiny came running in from the kitchen. "Marcus, Rose said someone's here to—" She stopped dead when she saw the woman. "Mama," their mother started crying. "My babies, my beautiful babies, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry." Marcus found his voice. "Why are you here? I saw the news, the trial, your name. I've been trying to find you for months." She took a step forward. "I never meant to leave you. I was sick. I was so sick and I couldn't take care of you, and I thought you'd be better off with Wayne." She flinched like he'd hit her. "I didn't know. I swear I didn't know what he was. He seemed so kind at first, so willing to help. By the time I realized, she broke down completely. I was in a hospital, Marcus. A psychiatric hospital. By the time I got out, I couldn't find you. The apartment was empty. Wayne was gone. You were gone." Marcus's hands were shaking. The old fear was back crawling up his spine. "You left a note on the counter. I can't do this anymore. That's all we got." I know. I was in crisis. I didn't know what I was doing." She looked at Destiny, who was hiding behind Rose. "I never stopped loving you. Either of you. Not for 1 second." Destiny stepped out from behind Rose. Her face was hard to read. "Then why didn't you come back?" I tried so hard. But by the time I was well enough, you were gone, and I didn't know where to look, and—" She wiped her eyes. "There's no excuse. I know that. I failed you. I failed both of you." The room was silent. Rose spoke first. "Why don't we all sit down? I'll make some tea." They sat. Marcus on one couch, his mother on the other. Destiny pressed against Marcus's side. Rose and Bone stood nearby, watchful. "I don't expect forgiveness," their mother said. "I don't deserve it. But I needed you to know the truth. I needed you to know that I never stopped loving you." Marcus looked at her. Really looked. She was broken. He could see it in her eyes, in the way she held herself. Life had beaten her down in ways he couldn't fully understand, but so had life beaten him. And Destiny. And they'd survived. "I don't know what you want from me," Marcus said slowly. "I don't know what you want from us. Nothing. I don't want anything. I needed to see you, to know you're okay." "We are okay. Finally," Marcus's voice hardened. "No thanks to you." She flinched again. I know. Destiny spoke up, her voice small, but steady. "Are you sick now? Still?" "I'm in treatment. Good treatment. I have a doctor, a therapist, medication that works. I'm better than I've been in years." "But you're still sick." "I'll always be sick, sweetie. It's something I have to manage for the rest of my life." She met Destiny's eyes. "But I'm not the person who left you. I'm not the person who wrote that note. I've worked very hard to become someone better." Destiny nodded slowly. Then she said something that surprised everyone. "I'm glad you're getting help." Their mother burst into fresh tears. Thank you, baby." Rose stepped forward. "I think that's enough for today. This is a lot to process for everyone." Their mother nodded, standing shakily. "Of course, I understand. She looked at Marcus. "Can I come back?" "Sometime. I don't want to intrude on your life, but I'd love to. I'd love to get to know you again. Both of you." Marcus looked at Destiny. She gave a tiny nod. I don't know, Marcus said honestly. Maybe, but it's going to take time. I have time. I have nothing but time. She moved toward the door, stopped, turned back. I'm proud of you, Marcus. What you did protecting your sister, finding help, testifying against that man, that took incredible courage. I learned from you, Marcus said. You taught me what not to do. That's a lesson too. It was harsh. He knew it was harsh. But it was the truth. Their mother nodded slowly. You're right. I taught you what not to do, and you became everything I couldn't be. She smiled sadly. That's its own kind of legacy, I suppose. She left. The room was silent. Destiny leaned against Marcus. That was weird. Yeah, it was. Are you okay? I don't know. Ask me in a week. Rose sat down beside them. That took courage, for both of you. What do we do now? Destiny asked. Whatever you want. She's your biological mother. The relationship is yours to define, or not define. The choice is entirely yours. Marcus looked at Bone, who'd been silent the whole time. What do you think? Bone sat down heavily. I think broken people can sometimes heal. I think second chances are worth giving. But I also think trust is earned, not given. He met Marcus's eyes. Whatever you decide, we support you. That's not going to change. Marcus nodded. I need to think about it. Take all the time you need. A month later, Marcus made a decision. He met his mother at a coffee shop downtown. Neutral ground, public space. She looked better, more rested, more present. Thank you for agreeing to see me. Marcus stirred his coffee. I've been thinking about what you said, about second chances. And I think everyone deserves one, even people who've hurt us. He looked at her. But a second chance isn't forgiveness. It's an opportunity. What you do with it is up to you. I understand. Destiny and I have a good life now, a great life. Rose and Bone are our parents. That's not going to change. I wouldn't want it to change. They saved you. They did what I couldn't do. But maybe, Marcus hesitated. Maybe there's room for something else too. Not as a mother. That position's filled. But as, I don't know, a relative. Someone who checks in sometimes. Tears spilled down her cheeks. I'd like that. I'd like that very much. It's going to be slow, and if you disappear again, if you hurt Destiny again, we're done. Forever. I understand. Marcus nodded. Then I guess we'll see what happens. She reached across the table and touched his hand. Thank you, Marcus, for giving me a chance I don't deserve. Everyone deserves a chance. That's what I learned when I knocked on that gate. 3 years later, Marcus stood at a podium. The auditorium was packed. News cameras lined the back. Hundreds of faces looked up at him expectantly. He was 21 now, a junior at State University, pre-law, honor student, and today he was giving the keynote speech at the National Conference on Child Advocacy. 3.5 years ago, Marcus began, I knocked on a stranger's door at midnight carrying my sister begging for help. The audience was silent. I was 15 years old. I'd been protecting my sister from abuse for 18 months. We'd been failed by the system, failed by the adults who were supposed to help us, failed by everyone we trusted. He looked out at the crowd. But we weren't failed by the strangers who opened that door. The Hells Angels, a group most people would run from, became our family. They protected us, fought for us, adopted us. He smiled. My sister Destiny is here today. She's 13 now, an honor student, an artist, and the bravest person I know. Destiny waved from the front row. The audience applauded. I'm not here to tell you that the system is broken. You already know that. I'm here to tell you that it can be fixed. And I'm here to tell you what I've learned about protection. He paused. Real protection isn't about blood. It isn't about obligation. It isn't about institutions or policies or procedures. Real protection is about choice. It's about seeing someone in pain and choosing to help. It's about opening your door at midnight when a scared kid knocks. He looked at Bone and Rose, sitting in the third row. My parents, my real parents, the ones who chose me, taught me that family is a verb, not a noun. It's something you do not, something you are. Every day you choose to show up. You choose to protect. You choose to love. The audience was completely still. I'm going to law school next year. I'm going to spend my life fighting for kids like me and Destiny, kids who fall through the cracks, kids who have nowhere else to go. He straightened his notes. But I want to leave you with one thought. One question. He looked directly into the cameras. If a desperate kid knocked on your door at midnight, what would you do? Would you turn them away? Would you call someone else? Or would you open that door and say, come inside. You're safe now. He let the question hang. 3 years ago, a group of bikers chose to open that door. They saved my life. They saved my sister's life. And they taught me the most important lesson I've ever learned. His voice strengthened. We are all capable of being someone's hero. We just have to choose it. The applause started slowly, then built into a thunderous wave. Marcus stepped back from the podium. Destiny ran up and threw her arms around him. Rose was crying. Bone was nodding his eyes bright. In the back of the auditorium, a woman watched. Thin, graying, proud. Their mother. Present but not intrusive. Part of the picture, but not the center of it. Exactly as it should be. After the speech, they gathered outside. The whole club had come. Razor and Diesel and Chains and Wrench and a dozen others. They stood in a circle around Marcus and Destiny. You did good, kid, Bone said. I had good teachers. The best, Razor grinned. Even if some of us are ugly as sin. Everyone laughed. Destiny tugged on Marcus's sleeve. Marcus, can I say something? Of course. And she turned to face the group. Thank you, all of you, for saving us, for choosing us, for being our family. Anytime, little dragon, Diesel said. Destiny smiled. I'm not little anymore. You'll always be little to us, Chains said. That's the deal. More laughter. Marcus looked at these people, these bikers, these outlaws, these unlikely heroes, and felt his heart overflow. They hadn't asked for him and Destiny. They hadn't planned for them. But they'd chosen them anyway. And that choice had changed everything. All right, Bone said, clapping his hands. Enough standing around. Rose made dinner. And if Chains eats all the rolls again, I'm banning him from the kitchen. That was one time too many. They walked toward the parking lot, still laughing, still together. Marcus fell into step beside Bone. Dad. The word still felt new on his tongue, still felt like a gift. Yeah, son, thank you for opening that gate. Bone put an arm around him. Thank you for knocking. They walked into the sunset together, a family forged not by blood, but by choice. Not by obligation, but by love. Marcus had knocked on a stranger's door at midnight, desperate and afraid, carrying his sister toward an uncertain future. And that door had opened. It had opened, and everything had changed. Because sometimes the people who save us aren't the ones we expect. They're not the institutions or the systems or the authorities. Sometimes they're the outlaws, the outcasts, the ones society has written off. Sometimes they're the ones who know what it's like to be lost and who choose to light the way for others. Marcus learned something that night, something he would carry for the rest of his life. Family isn't about where you come from. It's about who opens the door when you knock.